Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1042. 42. The answer to the ultimate question. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valentino, the last place on earth. Today, we hear from Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley. Plus, it's the debut of a fun new segment called Mike's Out of Mike's Daily Podcast. Mike's Out of Left Field Recordings. Interesting recordings I recorded in the field. Mike's Daily Podcast. Out of left field. I guess I have explained it more than thrice. Hey, you idiot states that allowed Trump to win in your Republican elections. I'm going to name you all now so we can spit in your general direction. Arkansas, Georgia, Massachusetts, and South Carolina. And don't forget Vermont, Virginia, New Hampshire, and Nevada. And then there's Alabama, which actually has a senator that pledged Mike's Daily Podcast his support. I'm sad to report I'm boycotting all those states. My vacation this year, Mike's, will stay daily in this Bay Area podcast port. Yeah! Come on, guys. What the hell? You idiots could do way better. Not much better. You got Cruz, but way better. Marco Rubio is pretty much over, they're saying. Oh yeah, and after Super Saturday, you got Kentucky and Louisiana that voted for Trump. Wonderful. What a wonderful day. Man! And did you see the Saturday Night Live where they made fun of, you got these people, all these white people, and they're like, that's what we need. We need Trump. He's gonna make us win again. This country's been losing for a long time. We're gonna win again. Our economy is here, says, Killam. His last name's Killam. And I can't think of his first name. But you know who I'm talking about. That one funny guy on Saturday Night Live. He's like, our economy is here, and we're at this level, and we're going to bring it up to this level. And all of a sudden, as he brings his arm up, you see a swastika around his shoulder. And it turns out to be a commercial for Racists for Trump. A funny commercial on Saturday Night Live, showing once again, Taram Killam, thank you, that they are really, really good at skewering people. I also enjoy Jimmy Dore and his podcast. However, as of late... Oh, look who just walked in! Hello, Michael Matthews, this is Madame Rootabega. How come I'm not in the podcast picture today? Oh, madam, I'm sorry. I went with the other woman that shows up here all the time at Cafe Anyway, Benita. She hasn't been on in a while. Michael Matthews, is it because you are attracted to her? No, no. I mean, she's a lovely lady, and you're a lovely lady, and I don't think I should have to answer why I'd pick a particular person to draw for the podcast picture. And by the way, what other podcast does a podcast picture as I plosive all over the place? Perhaps no one else, because it is only I that draws a cartoon or takes a picture or, you know, posts a picture for every podcast. Okay, Michael Master, now that you have explained yourself, I'm not so mad at you. Very good. Very good. Thank you, madam, because you're always the apple of my eye. You are the shine in my spleen. Thank you. You're the happiness in my larynx. Whatever. Thank you, madam. So, yes, that was it. Where you just barged in and destroyed my train of thought. Sorry, Michael Matthew. Why don't you look who else is coming in? Oh, wow. Look who it is.
Hello there, Mike. It's Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we're sad there because Chris Christie is behind the Trump. And we don't like the Trump.
I thought you liked Trump because it kind of reminds you of Chris Christie.
No, we don't want Chris Christie replaced by Trump.
Yeah, Trump is a bad guy. Do you know that?
Yeah, we'd rather have Marco Rubio and Dave, because we're Republicans.
You know, Marco Rubio has, I guess, this is pretty much the end. He knows the writing's on the wall. He has to win Florida. If he doesn't, it's done. His people say they're going to win Florida. I don't think it's going to happen. And I know Sanders won a bunch of stuff, but in the end, is he really going to... Ah! Sanders! Oh no, Sanders! Bernie! Yikes! Zoinks! No, okay, so Jimmy Dore, fantastic liberal comedian. Of course, he endorses Bernie Sanders. He can't stand Hillary. He went on some, 20-minute rant on his podcast about how Hillary just needs to bow out and have Bernie win. And I just was like, okay, you can think that. That's great. But, he ain't gonna win against Trump. If it comes down to those two, I'm sorry, the writing's on the wall. Bernie's not gonna win against Trump. It's just that simple. I know the if first off, it's not gonna happen. It's gonna be Hillary. I feel in every marrow of my being. Not that I want that particularly to happen. Like if we had our primary tomorrow, which actually it's not till June, but I would probably vote for Bernie. But I know he's not going to make it to the general election, and so in that case, of course, I'll vote for Hillary. But that's how I feel right now. I'm not going to vote for Trump. He's a racist. I don't care how you cut it up. Oh yeah, he's run his own business, whatever. He's a racist. He can't hide it. That's how he is. And he's just, do you really want that? For 8 years? That kind of over-the-top personality? People, you can't compare him to Reagan. At least Reagan had a nice side to him. Oh yeah, he could be mean as heck when he had to be. And, he was strong against the Russians, and when he was governor of California, he went after the UC Berkeley people and yelled at him and screamed at him and said, you gotta maintain your campus, it's pandemonium here. All the protests. But he was never to the Trump level of Trumpness, which is just ridiculous. Anyway, we'll see. Whatever. It's still only March. I got several months. But honestly, what the heck? All those states I mentioned in my song in the beginning of the show. What is going on there? And, oh, by the way, Buffalo is the most anti-gay city, apparently. People, based on rampant homophobic tweets, like the most tweets that are homophobic come out of Buffalo. Wonderful. Won't be going there anytime soon, so that's another city I'm going to be boycotting, along with all those states I mentioned in the beginning of the show. Finally, I wanted to mention one wonderful comedian by the name of Dave Attell. We mentioned him last show a little bit, but I've been watching his Insomniac show, and it's made me think. He was about 37 when he did that show, and it's just so funny. First off, one interesting thing, and we were talking about the beauty of women, in women's beauty, which comes in many different styles and shapes and what have you. But I will say, the Insomniac that he did in Anchorage, Alaska, I've never seen so many beautiful women in one episode. Oh my gosh. To explain, if you haven't seen, I'll explain very quickly. What he does is he goes to a city, or he used to do this was back in 2002. He'd go to different cities, he'd stay up all night, and go to different things, like a taxidermist who, stuffs animals all night, or he'd go to someone who holds a special meeting, like a pagan celebration of some kind or whatever. In fact, there was the summer solstice going on in Anchorage, so there was no darkness at 10 p.m. at night. It was a fascinating episode, and the women were beautiful, I just have to say. Wow. I know this, too, because in college, when I went to UCSB, and you can imagine there are very beautiful women at UCSB, there was this one girl I knew in my communications department. Of course, I was a communication studies major. That was the thing. Why else would I get into radio then? Because I was into that. The one thing, it was a gateway drug, communication studies into radio. But this one girl I met, she was from Alaska, and she was stunning. Jewel. Okay, need I say more? By the way, by the way, in a week, it's going to be National Jewel Day, which I don't think they mean the singer. There, that's all the information you wanted. Oh, but Dave Attell, the way he was able to do that kind of a show, it's funny because it's so old, and you see people with really clunky old cell phones, and they're just starting to be able to take pictures on their cell phones. But even back then, in 2002, people didn't quite get the concept that your cell phone could be used to take a picture. And at that point, we didn't have all the internet accessibility that you could go and take, just start uploading stuff to Instagram and what have you that we do like crazy now. It was a different world. It was a strange world. They still allowed smoking in a lot of bars. Marijuana wasn't legal yet in any states yet, so when he starts talking about marijuana, everybody's like, Anyway. That's all there, Cafe Anyway. Mike'sDailyPodcast.com is the place where you can find out more about this show on the internet. And that wonderful website, Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. And if you want to help out the show, there's an Amazon link there. Click on that and buy whatever it is you're going to buy. And you will help us out tremendously. And it doesn't change the way you shop. You just go through Mike'sDailyPodcast.com first and then look for that Amazon logo. And you're off to the races. And if you'd like to help us out through the PayPal, there's a PayPal link there. And all the Cafe Anyway characters will send you a special thank you greeting if you do that. There's also links to where to listen to the show on Facebook, Instagram. We can't listen to us on Instagram, but you can find us on Instagram and find the podcast pictures there. We're also on Twitter, Tumblr. You can listen to us on Tumblr. I guess you can kind of listen to us on Twitter and Facebook. But we're all over the place like iTunes and TuneIn, etc., Spreaker, Stitcher. And if you do listen to us on iTunes, make sure to comment on the show in the iTunes app, and more people find out about us if you do that. All there at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. And now, a brand new segment called
Mike's Out of Left Field Recordings.
Recording everything captures actions that will never again be repeated.
All right. I recorded some interesting things in the world, and I'd like to... This is from my phone. Speaking of which, we were talking about cell phones. Cell phones could record audio back in 2002, but it sounded like crap. So now you record stuff with your iPhone, and it sounds crystal clear. So this was something I recorded in Podcastro Valley, and it is of some frogs making their beautiful music. All right, and now, this is, okay, so you hear this piano playing in the background behind me here. That's me actually playing for your enjoyment here at Cafe Anyway. But I was walking Basil the Boxer one day, and all of a sudden, we're over at the Harbor Bay Isle, close to Alameda. It's right across from Alameda. There's a waterway there that goes to, I think is it called the San Leandro Bay? I forget at the moment, but it is a beautiful area, and you can walk. There's houses on the water. There's a nice walkway there. You can see all kinds of waterfowl. And all of a sudden, as we're walking along one of the houses there along the water, somebody's up in their room playing the piano. And it sounded so beautiful, and I was able to record it with my iPhone a little bit. Perhaps you can hear. And then finally, because I've been talking so much about Basil, I have to include some of the out of left field recordings with Basil the Boxer. Some of his talking. All right. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And the podcast picture is someone who's joining us right now, Benita the Rodeo Queen. Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing? Good.
Great. Hey, Madame Rootabega. Hello. I am doing very well, Benita.
Now, you two aren't, jealous of each other or anything.
No, Michael Matthew, I apologize for what I said earlier. It was just a little bit of envy. Oh, yeah, nothing to worry about, y'all. Sisters are doing it for themselves. Annie Lennox and Aretha Franklin.
Wow, I remember that song from the 80s. That was great. Okay, so next show, we are going to bring you Shelley Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the Engineer. And yeah, that's awesome. So that's about it. I feel like I've missed out on everything I was going to tell you about, but I don't want to talk any more politics. I'm done. I'm just done. I don't have any more strange field recordings, so I'm just done. And now I got to mix this all and everything before Dalton shows up and kicks me out of a cafe anyway, because Dalton is my new landlord. And Dalton is a slave driver. He's 20. He's into sports. I don't understand. He does a sports podcast. I haven't listened to it yet. I can't wait. Oh, Madame Rootabega, what were you going to say?
Michael Matthew, I am now the landlord. I bought it from Dalton just now.
Just now?
Yes, Michael, just now. Just now.
Oh, okay. So you're my landlord?
Yes, Michael Matthew. Oh.
I can take this with the Madame Rootabega thing.
Yeah, Madame Rootabega is better than Trump. Do you know that?
I think we all know that.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!